Hello and welcome to Conversation with Nurit. Today my guest is Stefan Hiene. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Yes. And Stefan is speaking to us from Italy, and I'm here in Budapest. I am Nurit. And this is a first time for me interviewing someone whom I know nothing about. Usually I prepare and I look at the website and I go through different information. But Stefan's website isn't quite up yet, and I looked him up on Facebook and I saw a video, and in the video he was completely silent, but there was such a presence that came through that I thought, I gotta talk to this man because I value presence pretty much more than anything, presence and silence very much. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to be comfortable with not knowing and be comfortable with pauses of silence if that's what happens. So I hope you will all manage to be peaceful in those moments as well. If your mind gets too busy and you get bored with silence, you know it's just the mind, and try to tune into the silence. But having said that, I have no idea what's going to happen. We may be chatting like crazy, who knows? So, Stefan, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Wonderful. Very nice to meet you. So, having not prepared anything, let's just start with you telling us who you are, what you do.
That's the most difficult part.
Okay, good. So
Because,
after this, everything will be easy.
yes, after that, everything is very easy. I started out in a quite normal family in Germany and was brought up what I would say is our negative programming, and which I share with so many on this planet. And I was quite rebellious as a kid. So, yeah, it was a difficult childhood, but not from the family itself or from the circumstances. We had anything, almost anything we wanted, and it was not, we were not poor, but I was rebellious against what was being told to me. I didn't like it.
Good for you.
Yes, it in a way it was good, and also in a way not, because I thought my rebellion had to be against someone to change him. And this is what I didn't get for many years, that it's not about changing others, it's about changing myself. And this is the fun part of the journey if you get it. And also the tough part, even if you get it, because from my point where I came from, it was so negative in programming that it was tough to find a way out.
Yeah.
So, but afterwards, let's say now I'm using this rebellious part of me more and more for my own advantage and not for the disadvantage of myself or others. And I did many things. I was self-employed almost all my life. I did many different things. And a few years ago, I discovered my child in me again. So, and that was a huge turning point where I realized that I'm just here to play.
How did you discover that? What instigated that?
That was so interesting. I was always fascinated by the question, how do we learn?
Oh.
And what is learning? And why do some learn easily, and why does it come easily to someone, and why is it tough for me sometimes, and how does it, is there a system, or how can we learn better, faster, whatever? And it was very strange for me, because I asked my brother, who is a psychiatrist for kids and young adults, and he studied this. So I asked him, because for me, he was the one who had to know, because if he doesn't know, who should know how learning takes place and how it works. And I asked him, and he had no idea. And nothing against my brother, but if someone should know it, then he who works with kids, because the kids come to him, or the parents come to him, and they say, oh, my kid has problems learning. My kid has what, AD, how do you call it in English? I don't know this. ADHD.
Attention deficit something.
Yeah.
Just another made up thing.
Yes, some, and I thought, okay, that's really strange. If he doesn't know, who knows it? And then I realized that kids learn easily whatever they want if they're not disturbed by any adults who tell them you have to stop playing and start learning. Because stopping playing, starting learning is a contradiction. It's not possible. If you play, you learn. That's so easy. And then I'm a cyclist, and I started training on the BMX track again. And I trained with kids, and I saw that they just played all the time, and I connected with the kids and with their spirit, and they somehow admired me, but I was not the one to admire. I admired them because they are in this state of playing where it's joyful and everything can happen, and everything is possible, and they are not stopped by a thought like, oh, it's too late or too early, or I should learn different stuff. No, they just play. They go out and have fun. And I was the 40-year-old kid there.
Yeah. Okay. So then what happened? You found the child within you. Is that correct?
Yes, and I realized that's all I have to do. So there's nothing, there's no higher goal or no more important stuff to do. Like we are told, like, oh, you have to work to earn money and stuff like that. I was raised with some kind of consciousness or with a lack of money. But it wasn't actually here. We didn't have a lack of money, but in my mind was a big lack of money. I always thought I had too little. And I'm kind of an adventurer and explorer, and I would say also a pioneer. I just said, okay, let's try out. My mind tells me, you have too little money, that there's not enough of it, and you're missing so many things in life. And then I went, that's already 10 years ago, I went to the Canary Islands, and I lived in a cave and in a tent, and everything was fine. It was just nice. It was beautiful. I hate camping, by the way. I hate it, but living in a tent in the midst of nature was just fine for me. It was so lovely. And then I realized, no, it's not about money. It's also not about working. It's just about enjoying life.
Yes. So how did you arrive at that place of silence? When I saw the video, I don't know how long it was, but there was an intense presence in silence that was coming through you. How did you arrive at that?
I had an important point in my life. It's very funny to talk about it for me, because on the one hand side, it was very tough for me. On the other hand side, it's something almost everyone experiences. It was not a shocking event in my life like some have. It was just the idea that money is missing. And this idea was so strong that one day I stood in my office / kitchen / living room / apartment and I wanted more, and I wanted the business to function and everything to work out for me, and I wanted the contracts and everything. And even though I had a quite playful company, it was called Sand Events, so we did sand sculptures and temporary beaches in cities. Wow. Even though it was quite playful, I still had this idea that I need more. And it was like my first real prayer in life. I was in the Catholic Church and also served the priest and did all of that, but I never prayed. I didn't know what it was. But that was my first true prayer, which didn't come in words, but it was something like, please God, tell me what it's all about. I just want to know what life is all about and what I'm meant to be, or what is it meant to be here, or what is the meaning of it. And from that point on started a 10-year journey now. So from that point it changed, and I met mentors, coaches, teachers, spiritual guys. I was never a spiritual guy. In fact, I hated it. All the esoteric stuff, I didn't like it, and that was not my goal. And I never had this goal to become a spiritual seeker or to become enlightened or something like that. I just met my teacher, and I saw the truth from the first minute when I met him. It was not an enlightenment. It was not some romantic stuff what people are experiencing sometimes in the spiritual community. It was very unromantic. It was just, I went there, he spoke, and I said, whoa, that's the first authentic being in my whole life. I never met someone who was so authentic and so real and so true and honest, that I just had to start from this point, and I started to live what he told me. And it's a very easy exercise. It's just feeling your feet.
What is the name of the teacher?
His name is Samarpan. He's a American guy who is living in Germany.
Oh, okay.
And he gave me it's really just one little exercise. It's sometimes so sweet, sometimes so tough, sometimes so shitty, that it's just feeling your feelings like they are, not thinking about what your mind is telling you, and just feeling your feelings. And from if I should give you the answer where this presence comes from, I would say from this exercise. Because I also, with this exercise, I did it with everything. I didn't stop at uncomfortable feelings, at feelings, whatever. I did it forever.
That's wonderful. Yes. So whatever feelings come up from within you, is that what you mean?
Yes. Yeah. And I don't feel in the head, I feel in the body.
Yes.
Like, where is it in the body?
Feeling the body. That's wonderful. Yeah. That's fantastic. And what happened as a reason? Can you describe a little bit the process of how that developed within you and where it took you?
The first thing was that every time I did it, the feeling was gone almost immediately. And my mind told me, then you're doing it wrong. Must be wrong, because you should be here and feel your feelings. No, truth being told, as soon as I'm really ready to feel the feeling, how it is in the body, it's gone. Yeah. It's just gone. Not with every feeling, but with most of them, it was really like, it is like magic. But my mind told me, no, if you don't feel it forever, you must do something wrong. No, I did it right. I did it like it's meant to be. Yeah.
Yeah. How could you get feeling wrong? If you feel it, you feel it.
Yes.
It's amazing how the mind will put a right or wrong on everything,
Yes. That was so funny. On the one hand side, it was funny. On the other hand side, it was almost like it prevented me from doing it, because if you do it wrong, then you have to do something else, and you can't do it like that and stuff like this. Yeah. And now I also have clients who tell me the same experience, and they say, but I'm doing it wrong, because as soon as I'm feeling it, it goes away, and I'm doing it wrong. I say, no, you're doing it right.
Yeah. It's amazing how the mind doesn't like emptiness.
Yes.
and
Yes.
it tries to fill it with something.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
It's true.
Mm.
And well, the video I did at Lake Garda, I didn't plan for it. I just did it and waited what comes up. So, and I didn't plan to cry, and I didn't plan to laugh, and I didn't plan to be sincere or whatever. I just did it and let be anything what comes.
Yeah,
And
I
this is
liked it
very
very much. Yeah, it's very, very, very good. I, I, I I can't describe it, but it's just your essence comes through, and it's very nice, very beautiful.
That's what I think we are here for. We're not here for to teach each other or to criticize or to become a better whatever, even though it's fun. So as a cyclist, I can say it's nice to experience improvements and stuff like that. I like it very much, but
Hmm.
it's not what it's all about. It's
Hmm.
about feeling each other's essences.
Yes, yes, yes. And so, do you teach it now? What do you do now with it? Do you have students? Do you coach people? Do you write?
I write very much. I love writing. It's also very funny because in school I was a very bad student in writing or German. We had German as a subject and I had bad grades, really bad grades. So, and now I love it. And I write like I want, not like I'm taught or
Yeah.
whatever. I just write what comes up.
Hmm.
Um, I teach a little bit, but not too much at the moment. Sometimes I have some retreats at the Lake of Garda. I like it very much because it's very much different to writing.
Hmm.
It's a totally different process, and I have some clients, but it's very important for me. I started as a coach. I wanted to do coaching, and I caught myself trying to get clients to trick them into my coaching, and I hated it. My whole being, not my head, but my whole being hated it. And my head told me, yes, but you have to live from you need some money and you have to have clients and stuff like that. And then I totally stopped it, and that was such a blessing
Hmm.
because now I can decide whether I want to work with a person and whether he wants or she wants to work with me, and if it really fits or if it doesn't fit, and I don't have to yet to decide because of money. And I really don't like it.
Hmm.
Still, I have very high rates. It's not cheap to book me, but I also really want this commitment for me and also for the others that we are now working together. And what's really funny about that is I like to be fast. So I don't want clients to be with me for the next 5 years or whatever. For me, the best thing is one coaching session and you're gone.
Yeah.
That is if I can, I try to give as much as possible in 1 hour or 90 minutes, then you find your way on your own.
Yeah.
It's strange. I never thought that this would come out of it, but at the moment, this is what I love the most.
Yes. Well, it's so simple.
Yes.
As you described in your own experience, if it's that simple, uh,
Yes.
what makes things complicated is there's so many books and courses out there that people think that they have to do much more. What a
Yes.
con job.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
And I don't say don't buy any books or courses or don't watch videos or whatever. But yeah, to tell the truth, it is really simple. It might not be easy. You might have a hard time with it. I still sometimes have. It's not. I'm not floating around all the time. This is not my experience. My
Mhm.
experience is that also my life sometimes can be very tough. And
Mhm.
as soon as I think that there's something wrong, it gets even tougher.
Yes, of course.
But when I don't think too much about it, I am in a different, it's very strange because I still can't grasp it. I'm still here on the earth and everything is like, if you watch me, it would be the same situation 10, 20 years ago, like now. But the experience inside of me and the feelings I associate and have together with this experience have changed a lot. They are quite different.
Yes. What do you find is the main challenge that people have when they start this?
To trust. To trust. We and this comes out of my programming. We are so much programmed not to trust anyone and anything.
Yes.
Everything is dangerous. Everything is a problem. Everything is wrong. That it's so hard and so difficult even to trust your own life.
Yes.
And even though your own life is what lives you, you still don't trust it. You think there's something wrong and it's not right, and this trust is a big issue.
Yes.
And also the second thing would be, for me, would be gratitude. Just to be grateful for what you already have.
Yes.
It's so easy to have goals for the future and to project into the future your dreams and your wishes. And also in the spiritual community, we do it. We just paraphrase it a little bit different. We say, oh, these are my needs. My needs don't get met. That's a nice thing, and it's okay. And I'm not telling you that you should suffer if someone is treating you badly or whatever. But just be careful if you do the same thing like before, just now with different words.
Yes.
Because I caught myself with this.
So tell us a little bit more about how you've managed to integrate what you've learned. Sounds to me like your journey is very inward, by observing your feelings and really feeling them. You're actually, in a sense, going inside. And how have you been able to integrate that with being a human on this earth when everything is so different?
That is so strange to me, still so strange, that I don't know how it works, because everyone in my family would describe me as an outgoing kind of person, like an extrovert. It's really so strange to me. And I don't meditate. I don't like it. In fact, I hate it. I don't like being still.
Yeah.
So it's very strange for me that this kind of change could even happen to a guy like me, because I still feel like I'm not meant to be for this. I'm not meant to be like this. It's very, very strange. So the only thing I can say is that I'm just curious. I really want to know. I really wanted to get it, and I realized that I can't find it where I already was. And where I already was always in the head. And I realized that there had to be a different truth, because there are so many systems, so many people telling you how to live and what to do and stuff like that. It was just a deep feeling that the solution had to be in another level. I still have this drive to go deeper and to deepen this experience.
Is there another technique or something that you do in order to deepen it, or is it the same, just the more of the same?
Yes, more of the same. And additionally, that's my, I even don't know what it is. Someone once told me it was Teal Swan. I had a coaching with her, and Teal Swan, you know
Teal
her?
Swan?
Yeah,
Teal
Teal
Swan?
Swan.
No, I haven't heard.
She's also a spiritual teacher from the US,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a coaching with her, and she told me that I am born as a psychologist, so it's not that I have to become it or that I have to learn anything or study it. It's just my kind of nature.
Mm-hmm.
But this explains very much, because as a kid, people always told me, you're very philosophical.
Philosophical? Philosophical.
Philosophical, yes. And I always wanted to explain life, and so that comes together, so that I'm very interested in psychological stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I try to combine it with this essence, and this is my fun, and I'm still searching for the points and triggers within me, why I am a certain way, and stuff like that. But I'm not doing it anymore on a stressed basis. So most people search for this very stressful. And what I try is to avoid all stress and to use my inner navigation system, which is so easy. It just says pleasure or pain, and it's nothing else. But we don't dare to act accordingly anymore, because we were told, no, you can't always do what is pleasurable for you, or what brings you joy. Sometimes you have to make compromises, and you have to work because you need the money, and you have to do a job which you don't like, and stuff like this, that we don't dare to use our navigation system. And it's so easy. It's really so easy that it's almost painfully easy, because there's nothing more to it. It's just pleasure or pain. That's all. Mm-hmm. If you decide in a painful state, for example, in a meeting with other persons, and if you feel that this conversation brings you pain, or the person just being there, we don't dare to say, ciao, ciao, I'm going, or even not saying anything, just turning around and leaving. Mm-hmm. For us, it seems like not possible, or you don't do that. Mm-hmm. And this is what I like about my rebellious part. I just do it. I go.
Did you ever get into trouble for it?
Yes, sure. Because my parents didn't like it. And who else? There are a few people who don't understand why this guy is so crazy. For me, it doesn't feel crazy. It feels just obvious that if I don't like him, I have to leave now. I have to go.
Yes.
And also, I'm not doing that like 100% every time. I also, how do you say, trick myself, or sometimes I don't act according to my feelings. And then after that, I realize again, okay, you could have realized it earlier.
Yeah. Did you ever, after you started, did you go through some people talk about a recovery period where a lot of thoughts and feelings from the past come out, and they emerge, and you're talking about feeling the feeling. What would you do if a feeling is very intense and very negative? What was that like for you?
I had that just recently, and I didn't like it at all. It was very strange for me, because it was a feeling like dying. I didn't know where it came from. And the strange thing about it is that it could have been that it's for real, that I'm dying, because I have, at the moment, I have a heart rate which is 20 to 30 beats too high. Ooh. And I used to be a professional cyclist, so could be that there is something, I don't know. And I had also teeth issues. But then something really strange happened. I called the ambulance, and they brought me to the hospital, and they said, no, everything is okay.
Wow.
And this happened the second time, but this time I didn't call the ambulance. I just laid down and I was ready, and I said, okay, then I'm dying. I really didn't like it. I hated this process, really. I'm not talking, now I can talk a little bit with fun, but it is still happening to some degree, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But it could be a process of, like I said, I'm not a spiritual guy. I never had all this kundalini and chakras, and I had chakra, whatever. I know little about it.
Yeah.
But it could be some kind of opening of something. I don't know. It feels like sometimes.
Transformation.
Yes. And for me, it's logic, because if you do what I did the last 10 years to transform my whole life, and all processes, everything in my life, the body sometimes has to adjust to your capabilities, to what you're living now, and the heart has to do something with this space and whatever. I don't know it, but it really feels like that it can also be just a spiritual process. Yeah.
That makes sense. If you think about it, everyone knows today that if you have negative thoughts, it affects your health, and vice versa. So obviously, if your life is transforming so deeply from within, of course it's going to affect your body in some way.
Yes. Yeah. And the strange thing about it was that it felt like fainting, but only to the point where I didn't faint, and then I came back. And I fainted again and came back and fainted again. But I never fell, or I never was unconscious. It just felt like fainting.
Yes.
So I still have that. And I'm really, it's even, for me, it's even sometimes more challenging than before, because before I just had to deal with hate or anger or whatever. And now something like this comes, it's not so easy for me. I'm not flying around all the time.
But at least you have the well, I don't like to use the word understanding, because it's not really a mental process, but you have the knowing that it's okay. You have the trust.
Yes, I'm learning this now. This is something very interesting for me, because I already had some experiences when I could have died. So it was more physical. It was that I was, for example, hitchhiking with some drunken driver, and he was going really like crazy. And I thought, okay, you can now fight against the feeling or the thought that you're dying, or you can just say, okay, if that's it, I'm going to die. And I did this, and it was very easy for me. And this was why I thought that I'm ready to die. But when this new process came, I really didn't feel like I was ready to die. I really didn't like it. I didn't want it.
Yeah. So what did you do internally to integrate that feeling?
That was something interesting. I called a friend of mine, and I knew it was very strange, because normally I'm the guy who I withdraw. I just lay down and I'm for myself, and I don't need anyone. But this time I told her that I'd like to see her, and I'd like to be with her for a few days. And she drove here immediately, and she came with her daughter, because she's a single parent. And the minute I stayed with them, it got better. That was really, it's still touching for me. It is still, because there's some connection which helped me a lot.
Yes. No, it's great to hear these stories, because I know my husband and I teach this as well, and we come people always, and from interviews as well, people always talk about these strange things that happen that are so unusual, and they don't know what to do with them. So it's nice to know that these are things that happen, and whether we understand them or not, it's okay.
Yeah, that's very important. I'd like to share this too. I
Yes.
had another experience a few weeks before, and for me, it was totally clear it can't be some physical thing. Something strange is happening to me in my head
Uh-huh.
or in my psyche or whatever. And I felt like dissolving in emptiness. And I didn't like it because I was not prepared for that, and I didn't meditate every day for achieving it. So
So why is it here?
yeah, and if you are in a meditation group, you perceive it totally different because everyone is trying to reach this goal, and if someone reaches, then you're celebrated and everyone is happy for you. But I was just laying there. I knew, okay, if I'm dying now or if I'm fainting, no one is coming because I'm alone here.
Yeah.
But from this experience, or even during this experience, I realized that there are many people in so how do you call them in English? Psychological hospitals or psychiatry or
Yeah. Yeah. Mental hospitals.
mental hospitals which do not belong there. Definitely not.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and every mental hospital should have at least one spiritual teacher.
Absolutely.
And if you and someone who experienced that, what you are going through, I'm totally clear on that, and I'm 100% sure that perhaps even most of the people who are there in these institutions, they don't belong there in the sense what people think why they belong there.
Yeah.
I would have.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes.
They're probably a lot more spiritually advanced than the doctors.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was also a changing point in my life because from this point on, I understood when spiritual teachers speak about emptiness and eternity, because it was no eternity, it was a timeless eternity and no and endless, but without space. It was very strange. It was not what I was thinking before when someone told about eternity. Yeah, okay, eternity, it's endless. Yeah, no, it doesn't have to do something with that,
Yeah.
because it's spaceless and timeless, and that is so strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in a way you're lucky that you didn't go through all the meditation, because meditation is in time and it has a goal and an expectation,
Yes.
and it's a separate event from your other life, and so you're just naturally um, unfolded into this wonderful emptiness.
Yes.
And I like the way you speak about your integration and what you're doing with it.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's so important for me. It would have been important to hear other people talk about these experiences.
Yes.
Then I could have been a little more relaxed with it.
Yes.
And really, what you say about meditation is so interesting. I don't say don't meditate. It's totally okay. But exactly how you said, if you take meditation as your goal to reach some state, it's not likely to happen, because then it was, for me, it was really like this. I met my teacher. I heard that he is telling the truth. And from this minute on, for me, everything was not only clear, but for me, it was only, okay, end of story, happy life. I'm just doing like he suggests, and that's it. I didn't have a further goal. I didn't try to become someone enlightened or something like that.
Yeah.
For me, that it even feels like that is the reason why it could even evolve more, because I didn't want anything. I was really, for me, it was finished. End of story.
Yeah. Yeah, you're very fortunate. Yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So now you're able to give the same advice to your students or your clients, because that's what you did.
Yes, yes.
You know,
Now I can really give it out of my own experience,
yes,
and not because I read it in a book.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And there are so many people today who are spiritually inclined, but there have been so much propaganda, spiritual propaganda about having to go to India, having to meditate for years, having to study so much that people are afraid not do that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you have a wonderful example to share with your clients. It's not necessary. Look at me.
Yes. For me, it is so important
Yeah.
To explain that you're born in Italy, Germany, Russia, Hungary, whatever. Why go to India? That's so you can. Sure, you can. If it's a nice trip, if you enjoy it, but not with this stress, with this idea. If I go to India, or if I go to this guru or to that ashram, then I will be fine, and then I will be enlightened. This is not going to happen. Almost 100% sure.
Right.
It is going to happen if you say, I want to go to India and I want to enjoy it to the fullest. Yes, then go.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Especially if you already experienced what we're talking about. If you found that place inside, it doesn't matter where you are, and if India is the place, great.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. So, did you write any books? Are you an author?
I'm an author because I'm writing some kind of newsletter. It's not really a newsletter, but every few days I'm writing something about something, just about life. But at the moment I'm writing a book. It's going to be a book about school.
Mm.
But not like any other school book. It's in fact it's a book about life, but I'm planning a title like something, everything you didn't learn in school and what your teachers and parents never told you.
Oh, fantastic. I would like to read that one. That's fantastic. So, do you have a blog? How do people find what you write? How can they read it?
Oh, that's on stefanhiene.de, but it's only in German up to now, so it's not in English, unfortunately. Maybe I'm going to translate it one day, and you can subscribe to my newsletter there on my blog.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm only on Facebook, but that's changing now. My blog is in a very starting state, and I'm going to build it up the next month, but I took it easy with that.
It's okay. So I will provide people with your Facebook link so people can find you if they want to learn more about you.
Thank you very much.
What you offer. That's fantastic. Do you have any retreat coming up or anything like that?
Oh yes, I have some events in July, from 17 to 19 July. I'm doing it at the Lake of Garda. I love it here. It's so beautiful. And then we have also a holiday special from August 1st to 7th, and then in October again. Also, these events are on my website.
Okay. How do you, Lake Garda? How do you spell that?
Oh, Lake, Lake.
Yeah.
Garda, G-R.
G-R?
Sorry, G-A.
G-A?
R-D-A.
R-D, Garda, Lake Garda. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And so the events are only on my Facebook site at the moment. I can also give you the link to that.
Yeah, I think I have the link to your Facebook, so I will post it, and I hope people come to to participate. Is it going to be in English and German, and what language?
It's in German. So because I mainly have German guests.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see, if someone wants to listen in English, we will find a solution.
Yes. But you also take on clients, and they can find you through your Facebook as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they can, and of course you speak English, so.
Yes, I have. I changed it. I start with just with a short 15 to 30 minutes call. I want to feel if I really can be of service and if I can really help and if we fit together.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
after that, we do one session and then everyone can decide.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful. Wow, this has been absolutely wonderful speaking with you, Stefan. Your experience is quite unique, different than most people I've heard, and it's really wonderful to experience how natural you are and how authentic you are and what you have found. And I'm sure if people want to get the kind of help that they need, if they want to experience what you have found, it would be very easy through you because it's your own experience. So I really thank you very much for sharing that with us today.
I'm so happy to share that, and thank you so much for the opportunity. It's a great pleasure for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you everyone else for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. Good evening to you if you're in Europe, and good morning to you if you're in the other part of the world. And God bless.